breath of fresh air. Well, today we delve into the economic potential of Ghana's Idinkra symbols. Actually don't know how that became a topic, but a treasure trove of cultural heritage that has captivated the world. President John Mahama rocked the symbols on his inauguration day, and this has sparked conversation as Idinkra symbols have been an essential part of Ghana's identity. Well, on today's show, we are going to be talking about how Ghana can maximize this cultural resource for economic development. Joining me in studio, culture journalist Kenneth Auchodako to discuss how to leverage heritage for economic growth. Happy New Year. Thanks for joining us, Ken. 2025, didn't think I'll start the year talking about Idinkra symbols, but President Mahama has made it a topical issue. First off, the article that you wrote, an interesting one that decoded the symbols of the president's costume on his swearing-in. Tell us a bit about that, and why do Idinkra symbols hold such significance for Ghana's culture and economy?
I mean, we've had inaugurations every 4 years. We've had different presidents take up the state sword and announce their presence as the next leader for the next 4 years. And what I thought was quite different about this one was obviously the Idinkra symbols that the president, had embroidered on his agbada. And it was a very different way of dressing. Many people were not expecting that because in the past, you saw that President Kufuor would usually be in his kente cloth. And so people were really not expecting that the president would appear in this manner. And so the fact that he had all of those Idinkra symbols embroidered on his shirt was something that sort of pricked my interest, for which reason we did some research and realized that all of those symbols on there had very significant meanings to the presidency, to the values that Ghanaians ascribe to, and to the future of this administration, if anything is to go well for him.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Idinkra symbols make their way onto the global stage, including Hollywood, but this one stirred some controversy. So what lessons can we learn from this, and how can Ghana benefit economically in the future? As you can see, the president there in his outfit, very beautiful.
So there are so many ways that the Idinkra symbols can be maximized. For instance, there are different ways of patenting logos and symbols for various reasons. For instance, there was an issue that was playing out in Hollywood, for instance. There was the issue where the Idinkra symbols had been used by, for instance, the producers of Black Panther, a very popular movie like that. And you can imagine the commercial success that film saw. And to know that the Ghanaian symbol was used in there was quite interesting. And so for that reason, there was some issue between, the folklore board here in Ghana and the producers of Black Panther back in Hollywood. The issue was about the fact that there has to be some credit to Ghanaians for the use of their, customary logos and symbols. And so it was supposed to be either Ghanaians were supposed to be credited in one way or the other. That could have been commercial, that could have been in other various values that could have been exchanged. And so that is one way that symbols such as the Idinkra symbol can be leveraged by the country when it comes to the valuation on the global market as well. So it doesn't just hold just cultural significance, but it also has some commercial value that, if really looked at, will really help.
I mean, you talked about branding. So how can Ghanaian entrepreneurs integrate Idinkra symbols in their businesses to create value, capitalize on this moment right now?
Exactly, because it is an interesting time that we are in. If you look at the global market and all of the sectors that are around at the moment, most of them are looking for things that are authentic. And most of them, we've had different instances where we've discussed the fact that African products in very different ways are being given the spotlight on the international market. The Idinkra symbols are one thing that can be leveraged. And our entrepreneurs can also, do something about it, because in selling a product, there are different things that make you stand out in the global market. There are other things that have been overplayed or overdrummed. Those in the industry know all of those things. But when it comes to like the indigenous values and the indigenous, architecture, symbols, Idinkra, and all of those things, it's very essential that we entrepreneurs find a way to imbibe that into their product to make it very unique when they get to an international market, so that there's a reason for an investor or a consumer internationally to choose to go for a Ghanaian product as against whichever product that is being circulated by any other industry.
Well, again, speak about capitalizing. By the way, that's your article, Decoding Mahama's Worldwide Agbada and Idinka Symbols.
Exactly.
On Inauguration Day, you can just catch it on myjournalline.com. We'll make for good reading this weekend. I was going to ask how the government can support the preservation and economic maximization of the symbols.
So if you want to be able to protect your work, especially on a global level, it will be essential that you create the legal framework to be able to protect it. For instance, like the example that we mentioned about the Black Panther issue, if we had a very strong framework around the usage of Ghanaian artifacts and symbols and things that hold very dear cultural heritage, it would be easier to fight that battle either in court or outside of court. So there's the need for very stringent legal frameworks around the usage of artifacts that belong to the country as well. And also there's the need for some education as well on how it's supposed to be used, because I feel like if there is the know-how among, for instance, creatives, amongst economists, amongst all of the other spaces that you wouldn't think have a stake in the usage of some of these artifacts, if there's more education among all of those people, they can collaborate and ensure that what exactly is due the country from artifacts or from symbols that hold such cultural value, all of the things that are due this country from those things will be achieved in the long run.
All right. Kenneth Auchidako, a culture journalist par excellence. Thank you so much. Happy New Year to you. I thought you were going to be in your a shirt with the Idinka symbols. I'm seeing something else.
You see some of it later.
All right, but I appreciate it. Good to see you. It's been a long while after all the politicking.
Finally, we're back.
Who is asking me to shout them out? All right. Becky, E-Vibes with Becky is going to air this weekend, I think. So, hey, shout outs to you, Becky.
Yes, Becky.
That's the marketplace. More news on our website, myjournalline.com/business. And please do catch that article by Kenneth Auchidako, Decoding Mahama's Worldwide Agbada and Idinka.
And there will be some more articles on this tangent, in as much as the government continues to announce some of their initiatives and how they appear. I mean, this year there's going to be a lot on My Journal Line, not just on the economic and social aspect, but there's going to be a lot more on the cultural aspect as well.
There you go, Kenneth Auchidako. And